Yeah, good. Good for y'all. I'm glad. I'm glad. That's right. I'm hating right now. I'm hating, and I deserve to hate. And I love it. I'm a hater, yeah. Because this Mayweather virus is all over the place, man. It's stinking up all the rings, bro. Stinking up all the rings, bro. They got Canelo. We got different fighters saying that he's cherry picking. But the one that I listen to, because he's Mexican, is Marquez. But see, another Mexican will look at Marquez like how we black people do. You know how we do when Bernard Tyson or somebody say something that we don't like about our fighter, and you be like, he's cooning and he's cooning. Well, guess what? There's Mexican fans that don't agree with what Marquez is saying and saying, how can you say that? How can you say that? So this skin color and shit, yeah, we have similar when it comes to our own, talking about our own, all right? And when it comes to Marquez saying you're cherry picking, right? It's different from another race saying it, right? That's in-house bullshit, right? That we got what they got to deal with, right? But if Marquez says that Canelo is cherry picking and he's not fighting the best, and he knows when to fight him, well, guess what? Don't fucking complain about Canelo. Don't complain about him. He's doing the Mayweather situation, and Mayweather had to do what Oscar wanted him to do in order for him to be on top. Take less money, the size of the ring, the gloves. So the virus moves on. It just enhanced. See, Oscar, he did it with how can I say, with Mayweather, right? Because he was the A side. But see, the difference with Mayweather at the time, he had the skills to pay the bills, and he knew. That's the difference between these fighters now. He knew that no matter what, you could give me, you could get the ring size, you could do this, you could do that. I'm going to get you, and I'm going to beat you. And once I beat you, I'm the A side. Now, once he took over that situation, and he's the A side, well, he took it to another level. And that's what Canelo's doing now. He's taking it to another level. Now, let me get on with Tank. Tank, on the other hand, people saying that he's not fighting the best. Look, he could fight Regis, Porgray. He's a free agent. He could have fight Devin Haney, right? You know, in December. This thing with Rolly. I looked at this interview with Rolly talking about, and I hear people say, oh, he's snitching on Tank. Well, Tank got counts. Tank got felonies, I guess, or whatever he got going on. He got court cases up. And that might not be 8 women complaining about sexual harassment or whatever it is, right? But his fight's still going on. No one's stopping Tank from being a multitasker, dealing with court and doing what you got to do in the ring. No one's stopping that. But for some reason, they stopped Rolly. Now, at the same time, I'm like, well, Mayweather, well, I thought you said it was only in-house fights. Is something wrong with me? Is Pitbull? Is Pitbull that Tank's supposed to fight? Is he an in-house fight? No, he's with MP Promotions, if I'm correct, right? So, is it just a pick and choosing situation? Is that what it is? Is it a pick and choosing situation? So I hope everybody chokes and get the virus, cough, mucus up. I don't care what it is, because the fans deserve this. Because anytime I try to say, Manny Pacquiao, yeah, I'm vexed and I'm a hater. And I sit back now like a joker and laugh like, ha ha ha. That's the virus of Mayweather. I see it all in Canelo. Canelo just taking it to another level. He knows how to pick and choose at the right time. And that's what it is, at the right time, who to pick and who to choose. He changed the weight. He goes up to here instead of fighting Boo Boo, Andre. He does that. He didn't want to be undisputed at one time, but all of a sudden it does count here, there. Yo, these are all games to stay on top, right? To stay on top. I'm hearing another thing about Crawford now. I'm all over the place. Yeah. I'm hearing this thing about Crawford and wanting nothing to do with Spence, and he moved on. That's a recent hearsay that's going on from him. And I'm saying, listen, man, I've been made videos about Crawford talking about after he fight Khan. If you go back, matter of fact, I might just put the video up real quick. Want to see the video? Here it goes. There it goes. Maybe I did, maybe not. I'm not sure yet. I might put it up, but
I'm not gonna stress over if I fight Spence, if I fight Garcia, if I fight Thurman, those type of fighters. I'm not gonna stress it. You know, as long as I'm making a living for my family and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a fighter, then I'm not gonna stress it, because I done a lot of in the boxing game that a lot of people haven't. I'm a two division unified champion, Ring Magazine undisputed fighter of the year. You know, I got so many accolades, you know, that I've accomplished in the professional boxing that I'm comfortable. I'm good with how my boxing.
So if your career would unfortunately end if after the Khan's your last fight, you don't have any regrets about not seeing those other guys?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't move up 2 division. Not at all.
Okay, it's up there. Yeah, so I'm saying to myself, you know, Crawford been saying, listen, I could end my career, fight Khan. This is when he was fighting Khan. He said, after I fight Khan, I can end my career and don't worry about ever fighting Spence. That's not a big deal. And it's not that these two are scared or nothing like that. Because the way I see it, Spence, if he fights the winner of Ugas and Standonis, or whoever's the winner of the tournament, and he fights up, because it sounds like right now that Spence contract that he was supposed to have with Ugas, the WBA is blocking it, or it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. So now when Crawford said, yeah, who is it, Spence, or which one is it? Oh, when Spence said, yeah, I'm going to be at his Crawford fight, well, be there. Make sure you're there at the front so you can see. Because as many a times that Crawford said, nah, I don't care to fight Spence, but they end up at the fight. Right there. Right there. And the way I see it, Crawford did so much in the division. Not in 147, but he did so much to place himself in a certain stature of being in the Hall of Fame. Or, you know, what is it, 3 division, undisputed. So much he did, that even though the competition that he did not get, that everybody's assuming that, like when it comes to Porter, right? All right. Now, if he wins or he loses, right? There's either, when he wins, they're going to say Porter's this, Porter's that. If he loses, or they're going to tell you, I told you so. He was built for Spence and that and this. And if he beats Porter, what are they going to say? Well, Porter, you know, he lost from Spence and he's old news, and you can't win with these fans. And that's why I say, enjoy the virus. Enjoy the virus as much as you can, because like I said, Manny Pacquiao should have got a rematch. You probably, if Manny had got a rematch with Mayweather, you probably never see him be the oldest welterweight champion at 42, who beat Keith Thurman. You probably never seen that, because all he wanted was that rematch. And what do we talk about rematches? Icons and champions must run it back. But nah, he did it right the first time. And these are the same dudes that caught that virus that's preaching and talking that shit. But at the same time, they complain about Tank ain't fighting Regis. Tank ain't fighting Devin Haney. He's in the protection program. Mayweather's being careful. He's protecting him to a certain level, because if he loses, Mayweather loses. But at the same time, if Tank keeps winning, and he gets up to 45 or 46 wins, all of a sudden Mayweather gonna flip on him and say, nah, man, you're too close to my 50-0. We're gonna put you in some heavy competition. But for now, Tank, I'm being protected because I got an image and you got an image, and we can work together that when you win, I'll win. Yo, the game of human nature. The game of you can't win. So I don't know what's gonna happen with Tank, if he's gonna keep fighting these listen, I don't know. When the Mayweather is doing what he's doing best, even though he's not fighting, he knows when to pick him. And I always hate this shit. Yeah, it took 5 years for Mayweather and Pacquiao to fight, and I like to hear when people say, I like when people like to say, yeah, because Manny Pacquiao didn't want to take a drug test, right? So that's why it took so long, and he was ducking because of the drug test. But at the same time, on this side, let me see some proof of that. Let me see some proof of that instead of that hearsay. Because on the other side, I heard Mayweather and his father and all of them got sued for defamation of character, right? And had to pay. They lost in court for that. But now they want to go on the basketball court in December and play and all kinds of foolishness, you know, just to stay relevant in boxing, or just to say I won a basketball match, right? And I always say, let that shit be one-on-one. I don't want no other basketball players handing you the ball. Half court, one-on-one, and let's get this popping between Mayweather and Pacquiao, right? Don't get no interference where you could frickin', here, take that, miss some buckets, right? So I can look like a champion. Nah, let this be one-on-one. If y'all gonna ball one-on-one, 3-point competition, best out of 3, come on, right? But like I said, man, it's all about the images. It's about the last thing that's on your mind, right? And whose hands is up at the last minute. And like I said, nobody's is always fighting somebody's. And you say, what? Nobodies are always fighting somebodies. And the somebodies always want to pick the nobodies when it's time to cherry pick, right? But the ones that somebody's and does something but didn't do enough, that has talent, well, the somebody's will look at them and say, what have you done lately? That was the last video I made with this dude right here, Boots Ennis, one of the best fighters I have. Boots, Virgil, Oshak, yo, I have so many new boxers out there that I enjoy watching, but I just don't like that. I hate to hear Boots say to what did you do lately? But Boots haven't done so much himself. How you gonna tell Blair the Flair Combs what you done lately, but you haven't done as much? That's like Virgil Ortiz saying, listen, I fought better competition than you. I don't want to fight you right now. Right? But at the same time, Boots, you complaining that no one wants to fight you. But like I said in my last video, you hot right now? Stay hot. If Blair's the only one that came to your event and got in your face in your squad, put that work in, man. And he deserved to get a fight with you. But no, what have you done lately? What the fuck is going on here, man? Between Tank, Canelo, I don't know, man. And like I said, my pound for pound right now that I got, hey, I don't care. I got Alexander Usyk. That's right, I got Usyk, okay? Undisputed. Just beat AJ, got all his belts. I got Usyk as my as my pound for pound champion right now. And when it comes to Canelo, well, Canelo's always going to be suspect. But you know, one day I was chilling and I was in the gym, right? And I was hearing these dudes. They was talking about boxing and shit. And this dude, you know, he's Spanish. You know, I don't know if he's Mexican, but he's like, yo, Canelo, man, Canelo this, Canelo that. And, you know, they was bringing up Mayweather and when Mayweather fought Canelo, and then the dude was like, yeah, Canelo was, you know, he was too in his he was too green and shit like that. And then he was talking about Pacquiao, and he said, oh, Pacquiao, you know, that dude, he's on PEDs. And I'm sitting there, I'm listening, but I ain't want to interrupt because that's between two men, and I ain't got. Even though I don't want to cut my time, I just want to get into this conversation. But I'm saying to myself, there's levels to this, right? But it seemed like when it comes to these PDs, that since Manny Pacquiao did so much, 8 division, 5 lineal, right? People say, oh man, Manny Pacquiao never been undisputed. But you know what? You know who been undisputed? Bud Crawford. Yeah. Alexander Usyk. Josh Taylor. Carissa Shields. A lot of people. And the older dudes like Jermaine Taylor, Evander Holyfield, and I could go on. But I'm saying, a lot of people did undisputed, but a lot of people didn't do 8 divisional, 5 lineal. See what I'm saying? So when you got those high expectations where you know you can't even come near, what do you say? Oh man, he's on PDs. He on PDs. But look, Canelo, it's like calling the kettle black. I don't get it. Like, dude, the man is suspect. That's why I don't have him as my pound for pound. Okay, don't get me wrong. He's a good fighter. Canelo's a good fighter. You can have talent and still take shit. But you got talent. So don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like Canelo. I don't like his fans and how he talking. Because a lot of his fans talking about so-and-so, Manny Pacquiao on PDs. But at the same time, Manny Pacquiao never got busted. At the same time, Manny Pacquiao sued Mayweather for defamation of character and he won. That's on top of people think he's on PDs and he won. He won in a court case. Never got busted. But all you talking about, well, he moved up in weight. Yeah, well, when I was a teenager, I was a certain weight. Now I moved up in the weight. As I get older, I put on weight. Okay, whatever. All right, the way ever you want to see it. But if you ain't got no proof, there ain't nothing to talk about. But then, when it comes to Canelo, that's why I get mad. But at the same time, I get so vexed, bro. But at the same time, I just sit back and I be like, yeah, all right. Y'all making him the face of boxing. You got Charlos and you got Tank Davis saying, yeah, he's me at 168. He's like a Tank at 160. Nigga, I don't give 2 shits about you, man. But you're doing all this reputation because you know if you downgrade Canelo, you're gonna look like the enemy and you're a hater. So at the same time, and then you got Charlo getting all stink face about Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man, it's so much shit going on in boxing today. But I can tell you one thing ain't happening. We ain't seeing the fights we want to see. So after I see this Terrence Crawford and Porter and how the fight ends, we're in a new chapter. All I know when it comes down to it, Spence needs Bud Crawford. Crawford, all he got to do, he really don't need, if he wants to fight Porter and prove everybody wrong about this and that, he got other options. He could go fight Josh Taylor. He could move another direction. And all I'm hearing about Spence this, Spence that, man, Spence ain't doing in the ring. He ain't doing shit yet. He ain't doing shit yet, man. Now he got Blu-ray. He been had Blu-ray for the Manny Pacquiao fight and this and that. He should be ready. He shouldn't have no fat camp. He should be ready to fight. January or whatever. Because it was his eye, right? It was his eye. My eye. All right? So he should be fit and ready to just jump in the ring and fight the winner of this tournament that's going to happen. And if it's not the winner of the tournament and he's got to fight Terrence Crawford, because he is going to show up to the fight, I heard. So that's just like I said about Crawford. Crawford said one thing, he ain't going to fight, but next minute he's at Spence. You know, sometimes you got to be indirect, especially when somebody's asking for a lot more money, 60-40, 80-20. Sometimes you got to be indirect because we know that Spence got something that Spence need to get something from Ugas or whoever the winner of the tournament is, and Spence got to get something from Crawford. If Crawford or Porter wins. And actually, if Porter wins, we will never see, would we see that fight with Terrence Crawford? So I'm hoping that Terrence Crawford wins because I really, not that I don't like my man Porter, And if Porter wins, yeah, I would still like to see the fight with Spence and Porter. And that would be a great fight to me. That would be a great and awesome fight. I feel that if he didn't do it right once, he might do it right the second time. Time would tell on that situation, right? But also, I feel like if you do win, you'll never see that fight with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. So I'm kind of swinging both ways. But I like my dude Porter because he fought everybody. And he has the right to win. If you lose, then hey, will we see that fight with Terrence Crawford? Now, that depends on Spence, because if Spence get another belt, here we go again with the 80-20. This was the 67. Are we gonna negotiate, or are we gonna say, okay, listen, Spence, that man, he got something that you need, and once you get that belt, then you're on another level. That means you conquered the 147 division and you was undisputed. I thought it was about strap season. Is it strap or money? Is it strap or money? Because first it was Manny Pacquiao. It was all about that money, right? Because Manny Pacquiao had nothing for you. No, he had nothing for you but the money. But Crawford got something for you. So are you going to do like Mayweather with Oscar De La Hoya and compromise? Just compromise a little, man. And make this a 50-50 fight, because, you know, a lot of people are saying Porter is this and Porter's on another level. Well, if Bud does what he got to do and he conquers Porter, well, are we going to be stuck with the 80, the 60? I just don't want to be, you know, back into that realm, because at the same time, guess what? Guess what Bubba said? Ah, you with that? Oh, you showing face again? Oh, you brand new again because you got another belt. Because you beat somebody in the tournament. If you beat, that's an if. Because what's going on now, I'm looking at Butanev. And I got my eyes on Butanev because he's showing some talent there. And he's strong. And he's switching. So I'm seeing some talent there, and I'm looking at it. I would like to see that fight with, Spence will beat him. Yeah, but I would like to see that fight. So if Butanev comes out to the end of the tournament, and he's the one that's the winner, right? And he beats August, that's a whole different situation there, right? To think about that, no one's really thinking. But that man is a strong Russian, yo. He's strong, yo. He might be the last man standing at the end of the day. You never know, right? If August beat him, and I don't want to hear no nonsense, man, because like I said, August deserved to fight Spence, but the WBA is blocking it. I remember when, and I don't want to hear about no time off, and you know, I don't want no excuses about Spence. I don't want no excuses about Spence off, because I can remember when August was fighting Jamal James. He had 2 years, 3 months off. And he beat Jamal James. Right? He beat him. And Manny Pacquiao took 2 years off. He lost to August, but he did it. There's a difference. August and Manny Pacquiao, when it comes to taking time off and fighting a champion, he fought Jamal James 2 years, 3 months off. Manny Pacquiao, he fought August, even though it was a close fight. It was a great fight. It went 12 rounds. It wasn't a dominant fight. Like people said. I don't get it, but you know, these people, they like to over exaggerate and shit like that, right? But like I said, Manny and August's face was all lumped up, both of them, right? So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Father Time don't wait for nobody. So I'm not worried about, well, if Spence, because this is what I'm gonna hear. Oh, well, it was, Spence or he was out longer than he should. Oh, I don't want to hear none of that, man. We done with that, man. So if it comes down to Spence fighting Crawford, shouldn't hear nothing about Spence got a mandatory. Because whatever trumps mandatory, unification. Right? So if Spence is waiting to see who the winner in this tournament or whatever. But at the same time, the IBF say, listen, you got to, not the IBF. Was it the IBF? Who was this? Abu something? I don't know. No, he's not with the, what is with the IBF? Who's with the IBF? I know IBF, what you call it is rank 3 or 4. That's Boots, but who's rank number? Anyway, I know Abdul, I can't pronounce his name right now on the top of my head, but he's a mandatory, I think, for the IBF, right? I'm not sure. Or the WBC, whatever, right? I just don't want to hear, because we both heard that Spence said, I don't need no tune-up, because tune-ups are for boxers that's not sure of themselves, and he's sure himself. You've been training with Blu-ray for Manny Pacquiao. You got enough time. The training, you should be on point. No matter if you extended your time, right? No matter what, you extend your time, you're there and you're waiting. That's it. So at the end of the day, when it comes to Tank Davis, Canelo, Bud Crawford, all these fighters, Errol Spence, time is up, man. And Conor Ben, Virgil Ortiz, Boots, Rashidi Ellis, or Shaq, all these new fighters is knocking and saying, y'all niggas get the hell out the way. Y'all wasting our time. And you all wasting our time. I don't want to be hearing nothing about no more mandatories and sanction bodies blocking signed contracts saying that, Ugas and Spence must fight, but all of a sudden you blocking that because you got a tournament at the very last. Like, it's such a expeditious situation that you have to have this tournament. See, everything's been set up, man. Everything is at the wrong moment. When you're getting close to the undisputed in 147, something always comes up. So that's all I got to say, man. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here for you to read between the lines. And just remember, this virus with Mayweather ain't going nowhere. Sit back, watch the virus goes on with Tank Davis, and watch the virus goes on with Canelo. And how I feel about Canelo fighting David Benavidez, and in that fight now, like I said, is at the right time and the right moment. I got that a 50-50 fight right now. I don't know. I was watching David a little bit of his last fight. I think Canelo still could beat that dude right now. I'm not sure yet. I'll see. I know he's a heavy-handed. I know David Benavidez is heavy-handed, and he got power and all that stuff. But I don't know. I think this might be the right time to pick him. Maybe this is the right time to pick him, right? But guess what? Like I said, Tank, Canelo, they already put seeds in the dirt, and they're growing their cherry trees, and there'll always be cherry picks to pick, right? So at the end of the day, just let's sit back and watch. And sometimes you just gotta learn from history to know what's going on in the future. And this virus it's just mutating. Same bullshit, different face. Or different race, doesn't matter. It is what it is. All right, I'm out. I done. Bring it home, man.